Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hey there, folks. My name is Brad Varnell. This is the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel. Excited to be here with you this morning. Why am I excited? I can't even tell you. I mean, we're looking here at CoinGecko. Bitcoin is down at $86,695, down over 5.5% for the last week. But I'm excited just because, well, I don't know how else to be. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And, once again, it's Wednesday here, about a week before Christmas. And I know that the last couple of months in crypto have been pretty devastating, really, to a lot of people. I mean, here we are at the end of 2025, pretty close to a year after most of us expected to have a bull market in altcoins. If most of the time in previous cycles, we would have been having some really good upside towards the end of 2024 going into 2025. And technically we did have some upside in November and December, after the election, but man, it was short-lived. And it feels like ever since, we've just been, getting slaughtered in the altcoins. So there's a lot of people here in the cryptocurrency markets that were expecting to be able to have one of the best Christmases ever, to have been able to take some incredible trips, 5-6 months ago during July and August. We're planning on taking their families on amazing vacations during the summertime. Some of us have been promising our wives and our husbands and our kids and our family, some amazing lives because of our work and due diligence in this cryptocurrency space. And we haven't been able to deliver. Or maybe some of you have. If you figured out a way to really pick out some big winners and you had your money focused into some very specific areas in crypto and you took profits quickly, maybe there's a few people out there that have really done some amazing things in crypto. But when it really comes down to it, I would say that 95, probably more like 99.5% of people that are involved in crypto haven't enjoyed the last, handful of years. I mean, let's face it, we had an all-time high back in November of 2021 of 68,000. And other than Bitcoin, in the last, four going on 5 years, there's been relatively little to be excited about in the actual altcoin market. But once again, the reason that I am as excited is I just understand the fundamentals of blockchain technology and of cryptocurrency, of digital assets. And I understand that they're not going anywhere. I understand that AI is not going anywhere. I understand that real world assets and the tokenization of them isn't going anywhere. It's just going to become more and more and more adopted as time goes by. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we're on the right path. It's just been a heck of a lot bumpier, and there's been a lot more pitfalls. It's been a lot scarier than the path was in the 2017-18 bull market and in the 2021 bull market. This has been pretty crazy, uncharted territory. And, only the real strong are surviving. So for those of you that are still here, that are watching the show this morning, congratulations for still being here. You are one of a few. For those of you that are on crypto Twitter at all, man, I really see people quitting crypto for real every day. Not just the clickbaits, not just the people that are joking around and making, YouTube titles saying I quit crypto trying to get clicks. Like real people that are totally shaken out of the market, not understanding that that's exactly what BlackRock and the elite of this world want. They want us to get out of their way so that they can accumulate as many of these assets as possible before they start to go up. Once again, none of us have a crystal ball. I don't know when, but I know it's just a matter of time. It's not if, it's just a matter of when these things are going to take off. There's some massive, massive gains to be made in the market over the next however long it takes. I don't know. I would be willing to stick my neck out and say that by 2030 is the absolute longest that it would take. But I have a feeling, I keep saying this, and I'm going to die on this ledge, if you will. I still believe that we are in for some spectacular upside going into 2026. I just do not think that we are in a full-blown bear market and that Bitcoin is going to just get smashed off for the next 2-3 years before the next halving. I could certainly be wrong, so don't base your investment decisions on my feelings. Obviously, you're here listening to me, so you must have a little bit of respect for my opinion, or you'll listen to somebody else. But I mean, when it really comes down to it, the more I'm around crypto, the more I just pretty much figure out how much I don't know. Like, these markets are absolutely crazy. There's a ton of things going on that I wouldn't never believe. Like, even today, I was looking, Polygon Matic is down to a little over 10 cents. I remember last year when I first started doing the Trader Tuesdays, I was super, super excited about longing Polygon when it was in the 20 to 25 cent range, because I was looking at its trajectory, looking at its history. And I mean, in order to find 10-cent Polygon, you got to go all the way back to the bear market of 18, 19, and 20, because they went all the way down to, I believe, 1.5, 2 cents back in 18, 19, and 20, and then it ripped all the way to over around $3 in 20 going into 21. And then if you look at the peak of the bull market in 21, November of 2021, until very recently, Polygon had not dipped below like 17 cents, 15, 16, 17 cents. And even that was extremely low. Like, for 90% of the bear market, Polygon stayed up above 20, between 20 and 25 cents. And then it would run up as high as 30, 35 cents. So for it to be on the verge, like, it is literally very, very close here to single digits. Like, if it gets down into single digits, then I really am going to be excited about adding more to my bag. I just am I can't hardly believe that we're sitting here. It's down 3.7% just today, but look at this, 10.83. We're talking about less than a penny away from being down in the single digits, down to 9 cents. And there's just so many tokens. And guys, prices like these bring opportunities for those that have the patience and have the ability to wait it out. This is another token. I'm starting to get into some of the tokens that I really like, but I know I've been talking about Atom, and I've talking about Cosmos for a while now. At under $2, to me, this is an absolute steal. And one of my favorite things about it, I know that Dave P. and Eric and Tim, who have made a comment, all three of you guys are in the United States. So all three of you guys have the ability to buy this token on Coinbase and stake it for roughly 15% interest. And for me, I'm loving that. I am slurping up Cosmos and just staking it. I've come to the conclusion I might be holding it. until 2030. I don't know, 2028, 2029, 2030. It's hard to say, but you realize that 15% interest, if you had to hold it until 2028, 2029, 2030, that you would have earned somewhere between 50 and 100%. If you're compounding it, it takes under 5 years roughly at 15% to double. And so if it doesn't get up above $8, $10, $15, $20 over the next handful of months, I'll probably be holding it until 2030 after the next halving. So once again, you have to decide what your strategy is going to be, what you're willing to hold long term, and what you need the money back for in the not too distant future. And if you need the money back in the not too distant future, I would be very, very careful about where I speculate. But man, like I say, it's just Polkadot. I was looking at Dot's all the way down to under $1.90, I believe it was, $1.89. $1.82. $1.82 Polkadot. Right now, I want to say the interest the last time I looked on Coinbase was 7 or 8%. Not as good as Cosmos, but still something. But in my opinion, if I had to choose between Polkadot and Cosmos, I think there's a higher likelihood that Cosmos rebounds and does better than Polkadot. So, and with getting almost twice as much interest, I would probably lean towards Cosmos, but I do like, accumulating some Polkadot at these prices also. And, there's just, I can't think of too many tokens, guys, right now that I wouldn't be excited about, accumulating. One of them that I might not be overly excited about is BNB. BNB is still up significantly compared to a handful of months ago. It wasn't that long ago that BNB was $400, $500, $600. XRP is another one that people are asking me about. And although I like XRP, I don't know if it would be one of my big plays right now. Like if I was sitting on the sidelines with $10,000 in cash and I was getting ready to buy $10,000 worth of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 tokens, I don't know if XRP would make my list, just because if you go back into the bull market, it is way, way, way higher than it was a year or two ago, where that's not the case with all of the other tokens that we just talked about. Polygon, Cosmos, Polkadot, all of those tokens are even lower than they were during the worst part of the last bear market in 22 and 23. If you go look at those tokens, Polkadot, remember back in the day when we were trading it, I was showing you guys how it had barely ever dipped below $3. And the 1 or 2 times that it dipped down into, say, like the $2.75 range, it literally only stayed there for a couple of weeks, and then it went back up over $3. So here it is now at $1.82, when during the bear market, 22 and 23, when we were for sure in a confirmed bear market, it was sitting up at $3 for the most part. And once again, I don't feel like we are in a confirmed bear market yet. We can see what Bitcoin is going to do over the next 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days. I still believe that Bitcoin is going to reclaim and create new all-time highs over the next handful of months. I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin continue to go from the 80s down into the 70s, 60s, 50s. I don't see it happening with all of the interest from the outside markets and that type of thing. But how low can some of these altcoins go? It's hard to say, but it's really, I really feel like it's getting to the point where I can't imagine them going that much lower. Anyways, I said all of that, talked for the last 15 minutes without hardly taking a breath. Let me take a quick sip of my coffee and say good morning. Dave P., thank you for being here. Mr. Eric Bernstein, appreciate you, my friend. Good afternoon, Tim. We got John Lopez in the house. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, John. I hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you for being here. What's going on, Dave P? Why don't you got any tokens you want me to look at, man? I know that you've been a hard-working man. I really was serious about figuring out, we got to figure out something for you in the Telegram group, Dave. I appreciate all of the stuff that you're doing in the Telegram group. You've been putting some great information into the Infinite Crypto Telegram group. We got to figure out a way to maybe monetize that for you, and then make some kind of a schedule where people can count on the Dave P token of the day or the Dave P token of the week, stuff that we could be looking at. But appreciate you, and I know that you're doing a lot of research these days, so if you've got anything hot off the presses, let me know. While you're doing that, guys, I do want to mention yesterday we did a live stream for the Lays I can't tell. I don't remember I can't pronounce it. I don't know if it's Lays AI or if it's Laz AI. I think it might be more like Lazarus. Laz AI is what they pronounce it instead of Lays. Laz AI. But that was an incredible live stream. One of the co-founders of Metis, Alina, did a fantastic job of explaining Laz AI, their AI agents, and what they are trying to build on the Metis network. So go check that out. And on that note, this is a token that we haven't talked about for a while, Metis. But it's kind of funny. I'm going to give you guys just a little history here. It's kind of funny. I don't know if any of you guys have ever gone back to the beginning of this channel. I know that there's a lot of you that have been around for the whole, almost 5 years, but probably some of you that haven't really gone back and seen is one of the things that I enjoy doing when I go back through my history here is all of the different thumbnail styles and the different things that we used to do with the thumbnails. But when you get all the way back, these are the original video. Look at this. Like, I had no idea back then that you weren't supposed to, put a bunch of writing in the thumbnail. I still probably put too much writing into the thumbnails, but look at these thumbnails. Like, I was trying to explain everything that a video was about, back then in these videos. But you go all the way back here. This is the very first video I did outside of the apartment complex that I was living in. But if we scroll back up just a little bit, you guys will be able to see here Metis. This video right here, over 4 years ago, that I did my very first video on Metis, and I was looking at it the other day because of the video that I was doing. So it's kind of interesting. Metis way back in 2021 was an $11.39 token when I did this video. But look at this, guys. This thing went from $11 all the way up over $323 in January of 2022. So it was a little bit of a late bloomer, even though the market kind of peaked in November of 2021. This thing didn't peak until 2022. But look at this, $323. And that's part of the reason some people are still sticking around and listening to me, is I had some pretty good calls back during and before the last bull market. But I really believe that Metis here at $5.51, and now it's all the way down to a $37 million market cap. This token here, in my opinion, is a real good microcap gem, guys. And part of it is because of what they're building. So this Laz AI is building on top of Metis. And I don't know if I had mentioned it before. I think you guys had heard it, but one of the things that I did in this video, these are the co-founders of Metis, and you can see Alina here. She was on the call yesterday, but the other one, and for whatever reason, they don't like to use Vitalik Buterin's name. Vitalik, the inventor of Ethereum, right here, Natalie Ameline is Vitalik's mom. And for whatever reason, they don't promote it. They don't use the fact that she is Vitalik's mom in their advertising and all of that stuff. And to me, it seems like, man, if I was Vitalik's dad, I would be promoting the heck out of it. I'd have him talking about it. I mean, I don't know about their relationship. I don't know why. But my point is, when you got the guy who invented Ethereum, you got him as your son. The fact that Metis is owned by these ladies, to me, is a very, very good sign that it's being built on a firm foundation, that there's some legs here, and that this is a token that's going to be around for a long time to come. So do with that what you will. This is kind of, I was trying to get away from the Microcap Gem Wednesday theme, and I still haven't figured out exactly what the theme is going to be. But, for today, I was just kind of going through some of my thoughts on the market, and this is a Microcap Gem. All of the other tokens that we talked about so far, the polka dots, the Cosmos, the Polygon, those are all, top 100 tokens now. All of those were more like top 25 tokens not that long ago. But this is ranked all the way down at number 767, only has a $37 million market cap. And I would say at $5.53, you can see here, if we look at this chart, this is basically the last time this thing was down at $5, under $5 was forever ago. Look, its all-time low was $3.45, May 23rd of 2021. That's basically pretty close to when it launched. The video that I did, this video here, was probably, it doesn't show the exact date, but it was probably not too far from that low. And it didn't take it very long at all to get up to that $11 price point. But when I did this video and I showed it at $11, that was probably its all-time high at that point. And then it went rocket shipping up from there. This was another really great investment on my part. Unfortunately, I didn't invest enough into this one. I did buy, a couple $100 worth of tokens. But this is another one that this could have been life-changing had I got a few $1,000s into this one, because it basically, 50, 60 X'd. So, a $1,000 investment would have turned into 50, 60 grand. A $5,000 investment would have been 250 grand. A $10,000 investment would have taken a guy to over, $500,000 worth of crypto. Anyways, this is a token that you can buy on a ton of exchanges. You can buy it on Uniswap. You can buy it on Binance. You can buy it on MEXC. I'm kind of surprised. I don't think you can get it on Coinbase, but it's easy to get a hold of. And this is one where if you're really looking for something that is way down the rabbit hole in a sense, but it's been around and it's been building for years and years and years, and that has incredible founders, incredible team. This token here, to me, could be a sleeper that I think a lot of people have forgotten about. And this token here could be life-changing if this thing continues to rocket ship up. Look at this, guys. It's only got a 10 million max supply. 10 million, half the supply of Bitcoin. So you're talking about some massive, massive, massive numbers that could come to the Metis token. I mean, it's not necessarily impossible for this thing to be multiple thousands of dollars in the future. I mean, Bitcoin's got 21 million. And it's sitting at, been at over 100,000. This has half the supply of Bitcoin. So, I mean, is $100,000 token possible? Yeah, it's possible. I don't know how long it would take, how much adoption would have to come. But with only 10 million tokens, it doesn't take a whole lot of buy pressure to move this price absolutely massively. And as of right now, only 6.8 million of those tokens are in circulation. So this is a token that I would definitely highly consider putting a few of my hard-earned dollars into. Once again, not financial advice. Look at it, do your own research and due diligence. But I kind of had forgotten about Metis and hadn't talked about it for a while. And yesterday I was reminded why that's probably an error in my judgment. And the good news is, look at this, guys, just back here in November of 2024, December of 24, it was $67. I mean, we're talking about a year ago. It was all the way up at $67. And then even during most of this downturn, you can see even just in June of 2025, $16. So this thing has been absolutely slaughtered over the last handful of months, and it just keeps going down. I mean, we can see here that we go out to, this is September of this year. So we're talking September 21st, October, November, December, like literally 3 months ago, this was a $15 token, and now you can get it for down at $5.50. Anyways, I'll shut up about Metis, but I think that this is a token that should be high up on our radar. Mr. Dave P. Surge, 18 million market cap. Almost half the supply is out. Low cap, so could drop. Let's take a look at the Surge token. How come there's always got to be 2 or 3 now? Which one are we looking at here, Dave? The top Surge here or the bottom Surge? I'm going to click on this one, and you can tell me if that's the right one or the wrong one. Looks like it's on the Binance Smart Chain, sitting at about just under 4 cents. Is that the right Surge, Dave? $38 million market cap. First one. Okay. So this is the right one then. Cool. So like he said, it's sitting at a $38 million market cap. It's got, it looks like 1 billion tokens. Half of those are basically out. And what's this token all about? Let's see where we can buy it. We can get it on Radium, Uniswap, Pancake Swap. So it looks like if it's must have a Solana contract. Yep. So it's on Binance, Base, and Solana. That's sweet. And then let's go to their website and see what they are up to. Surge XYZ, surge.xyz. Let me see. Well, the website doesn't want to pop up right this second. Let's go take a peek at the Twitter account, see what's going on here. So tokenizing startups, democratizing finance, be the first to invest in the best. Let's give them a quick follow. Surge Launchpad has now merged with the Lab AI developer ecosystem. Here's why it matters. Under the hood of Lab sits the largest AI ecosystem, housing 240K AI builders, 200 plus yearly hackathons, 4,000 plus projects that are accelerated by the Magnificent Seven, including Google. We can see here they've got a little over 17,000 followers, followed by a handful of people that I follow. So that is good. Let me see here. Dave. Let's go back over here and see if the website wants to work yet. Nope. Interesting. Well, we can't do a full-on, like, look at their website and see exactly what they are into. But if Dave says they're worth looking at, I take his word for it. And, could probably go look here. link tree. Let's see what their link tree looks like. If there's anything on their link tree that we can get to. This is probably just going to come back. Yeah, that's no good. See what if we click on Surge Soul, what does that show us? Okay, that just shows us the chart. Back over here, see. So all-time low was on November 4th. All-time high was on November 16th. So it looks like a relatively newer project that launched not too long ago. And we're looking at, looks like it's down about 56% from its all-time high. So it looks like it probably had a nice little launch, went up a bit, and now has come back down, had a retracement. And that it's done some pulling back. Once again, guys, as Dave said, it's a low cap gem, number 1146 here on CoinGecko. So be careful. If we do still get some pain in the markets, some of these microcap gems like this are really going to get slaughtered. So this thing can go from almost 4 cents to 0.004 or 0.004 relatively quickly, depending on the markets. Now, on the flip side, these projects can also do massive, massive numbers if we hit an altcoin season and some of these microcap gems have some money flowing into them. You would be amazed at how fast some of these can go up. So, do your own research, do your own due diligence, and be responsible if you're investing into a token like this. Don't put money in there that you can't afford to lose. But one of the things that we always talk about on this channel is the risk versus the reward. If you're putting in $1,000 into something and the reward is that it turns into 100,000 or $1 million, how many times can you lose $1,000 and be okay with it when you know that when you're right and you hit the right one that you're going to turn it into 100,000 or more? Well, that's a pretty good risk versus reward. Now, if the risk was 1,000 but the reward is 5,000, 10,000, then you got to be a lot more careful. You have to be a lot more, protect your money a lot more so when you're looking at something that you're expecting maybe a 5 or 10x out of. And so just, take that with a grain of salt and invest wisely and invest smartly. These types of projects definitely aren't, in my opinion, the type of projects where you want to invest big portions of your investing capital. These are ones where if I had $10,000 to invest, then I would be throwing maybe $100 at, $500 absolutely max. Because I want to have most of that $10,000 into more solid projects that I don't have to worry about going to zero. Like I don't worry about Polygon going to zero. If I throw in, $10,000 into Polygon at 10 cents, even if Polygon were to drop back down to 2 or 3 cents and my 10 grand was only worth 2 or 3 grand, it would suck, but it would just be a number on a computer screen. And I have no doubt that Polygon at 10 cents eventually is going to be a massive investment, a great entry point, where with these microcap gems, they can go to zero. They can basically go out of business. They can go bankrupt, and your $10,000 turns into zero and has no chance of ever coming back. And that's the main reason that I don't put a little bit higher amount of capital into stuff like this. So, Dave says, yeah, he's putting $50 into these low cap gems that he's finding. So I like that strategy a lot, Dave. Thank you for sharing that with us. This looks familiar. John Lopez says Horizon, ZEN. For some reason, I feel like we have seen this before, but let's go ahead and take another peek at it. Maybe I could be wrong. It just sounds familiar, but we're looking at $133 million market cap, so it's a little bit higher up there. 352 on the number here. That's not bad. Looks like it is on, is that the base network? Looks like that might be the base. Yeah, base network. Once again, on some great markets, Binance, Pionex, Bybit, MEXC. Wow, you can even buy this on Coinbase. Okay, I definitely have to have heard about this token and have looked at it before, but for some reason, I swear I'm not. It's not placing it here. It was way back on October 17th of 2019. So 6 years ago was its all-time low. And its all-time high was May of 2021 during the last bull market. So it has definitely been around for a while. You can see the craziness that has happened on this chart. But once again, this is a token here. If we go back to, let's see where it was here. This was January of 2025, $28 token. So it has been basically, has gone down 75% or so in the last year, but it did bounce back up. We're looking at here, like just in November 27th, it was $11. Interesting. Let's see what they're all about. What are they doing? Horizon IO. On-chain privacy that works for you, powering privacy first and regulatory ready infrastructure for the new digital economy. Horizon is for competitive advantage, compliant trading, secure on-chain business, confidential transactions. Privacy matters for everyone. And I will say that we've had some big surges in some of the privacy tokens recently. And so I like the fact that, it's right in the middle of some things that are really important to people, that the longer this world goes on, the more that we become digitized, the more that these companies take advantage of our information and everything that they are selling. The amount of data that these companies are, that the Googles and the different companies are collecting on us and selling is just absolutely mind-boggling. And so privacy isn't secrecy, it's protection and power in your hands. And I agree. I really like that. Looks like it's on Aerodrome, which is another one of my favorite tokens. And so, yeah, I like the looks of this. So here it already has migrated to base. This is kind of some of the things that are going on. You out of here, son? Love you, buddy. See you tonight, right? You're working till full time? All right, buddy. Take care. Nice. Let's see what their Twitter looks like here. I hadn't followed it, but you can see here they got 175,000 people on Twitter. And this could be another solid little find, guys. We're looking at $7.57. Total supply, only 21 million. So they've got the Bitcoin tokenomics going. Circulating supply, 17 million, which probably we all know that several million of Bitcoin are gone to never return. So it's probably got a circulating supply that's pretty darn close to what Bitcoin is going to have. So once again, another one with these lower numbers. Not that hard for a token that's only got 17 million. If it gains some traction and gains some notoriety and gets some buy pressure, this thing could be another rocket ship. So thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that, John. Looks like a pretty good token that we should probably be putting on our watch list and keeping a close eye on, and potentially even buying a token or two. Well, guys, I know that the live streams have been a little bit shorter, but that's because I want to, I want to get into the meat and potatoes and share this stuff with you guys, and then let you get on with your day and enjoy your life. So I think that we had a pretty good little talk today, and no reason to drag it out for another half an hour. Let's switch over here real quick, and call it a day. Call it a day here. So, with that, thank you all for being here. Once again, take a serious look at some of these, top 100 tokens. I guess there's, one other token that I did talk about yesterday on the live stream that I think kind of crazy. This is another one that I would have high up on my radar screen, and that is VeChain, guys. VeChain dropped another 4% and now is number 104, and it's at just over a penny. So I would take a close look at VeChain to go along with some of the other tokens that we've talked about. Something that I haven't looked at for a while, I believe that VeChain is still spitting off the VTHO token. So if you own VeChain in a decentralized wallet, then you are getting VTHO. It might not sound like that big of a deal because VTHO is all the way down at 0.0008. But VTHO was, a 4 going on 5-cent token. So let's do a little math here. If we were to put in, say, $100 into VTHOR, that would get us 125,000 VTHOR. So let's see here. If we go to my trusty little calculator and we do 125,000 times 0.05, so 5 cents, that's $6,250 that $100 worth of VTHO would be worth. And I can definitely tell you that VTHO does follow the price of VeChain to a certain extent. So if you go back to VeChain itself, sitting here at a little over a penny, and its all-time high was all the way up at 28, going on 20, or just over 28 cents. If VeChain runs back up and gets to those types of numbers, the VTHO that you have been getting is definitely, significant. I'm trying to, for the life of me, I know I've got a little bit of VeChain on a VTH on a VET wallet. I haven't looked at it for a long time. I might have had this on here for a couple of years and not looked at how many VTHO I've earned. I used to know the formula by heart because I owned a lot of VeChain. But right now, off the top of my head, I don't know the formula, but it's basically like you take the number of VeChain that you own, multiply it by, it was like 0. Let's see if I can find this wallet. Oh, come on. Oh, for goodness sakes. There we go. VE. Yeah, there we go. Is this the wallet? Yeah, VeChain Thor wallet. Yeah, so I've got 53,863 VTHO that have been built up, worth about a $50 bill. Not a whole lot of money, but the fact is, as it continues to grow, it's just dripping in every single day. That VTHO is accumulating on my actual VeChain. So I think that VeChain would be a great investment, even if it didn't have the VTHO that it spit off. But with the VTHO, I think VeChain could definitely be a top performer. And like I said, if you look at the last time VeChain was outside of the top 100, it's been a long time. So that is, last but not least, VeChain is another one that I think at a penny is a great one to buy. You can literally get it on Coinbase. And then I wouldn't recommend holding it on Coinbase because you don't get any of the VTHO token. But that would be another token. If you don't have any VeChain, go do your research, go check that token out, see what it does. I think it's got a great, it solves a lot of real world problems. It's got a lot of real world use case. And so with that, there's a handful of tokens for you guys to take a look at. God bless you. Please keep my wife and I in your prayers. We will be finding out in a couple of days whether or not we are going to be expecting a baby here in about 9 months. So all of the procedures were done, safe and sound and smooth. And we actually do a blood work pregnancy test in 2 days to definitively find out if any of those embryos have attached and are growing into babies. So keep us in your prayers. And, we'll see you next Monday for an update on the Crypto Monday Mindset Mastery live stream. In between then, if you're part of my Texitcoin team, you'll be hearing from me. There's some pretty amazing promotions and some things going on. A lot of opportunity between now and Christmas. I know a lot of people are kind of turning things off and forgetting about business, but there's a lot of great reasons to stay plugged in to the Texitcoin ecosystem. So I'll be talking to you, Tim and Dave, and all of you that are part of the Texitcoin. And with that, God bless you again. Thank you all for, being here and spending this hour with me. And man, look forward to seeing you with some amazing news next Monday. Bye-bye for now.